In 5, 4, 3, 2. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Robbi a'udzubika min hamazati sayatin wa a'udzubika robbi ayah durun robbi srohli sodri wa yassirli amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qauli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Rahayu, namaste, om swastiastu, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan dan sehat untuk kita semua. Selamat pagi Ibu dan Bapak, selamat datang di Dialog Positif. Welcome back Hans to our webinar, our podcast Dialog Positif. Really glad you reply my WhatsApp and you say yes without hesitating. You came back to my webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So how are you, Hans?
I'm very well. I'm delighted to be here with you and see you again. And did we speak? 2 years, 3 years ago? I don't know, but a few years ago.
Around 1.5 years.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. And it was a great conversation, and I want to make a little bit profound talk about this topic. Yeah, I told in the WhatsApp. We will talk about the profound about the last incarnation. I think this is a little bit taboo in Indonesia, but I think we have to more digest and more profound to talk about the reincarnation. Anyway, before we start, I think I have to read your biography or CV. I will read in Indonesia. It's okay ya, Hans? Oke, teman-teman, Hans Wilhelm ini saya mau baca dulu tentang biografinya. Beliau ini sebentar ya. Oke. Ya. Hans Wilhelm adalah seorang mistikus, penulis dan ilustrator lebih dari 200 buku untuk segala usia, termasuk beberapa buku bersama Byron Katie. Buku-bukunya telah terjual lebih dari 40 juta kopi dan diterjemahkan ke dalam 30 bahasa. Lebih dari 10 tahun, Hans telah membuat lebih dari 130 video pendek di YouTube tentang menjelaskan secara visual hukum-hukum spiritual alam semesta. Video-videonya telah ditonton lebih dari 18 juta kali dan dapat disaksikan gratis di www.lifeexplained.com dan di YouTube-nya Hans Wilhelm. Tentu saja tinggal di-search saja tuh Hans Wilhelm di YouTube. Dan Hans berharap karya-karyanya dapat menginspirasi banyak orang untuk menjelajahi spiritualitas, melihat kehidupan dari sudut pandang yang lebih luas, dan memahami bahwa segala sesuatu memiliki makna yang saling terhubung. Dan semoga pagi hari ini Hans bisa memaparkan, kita bicara last reincarnation, jadi pagi hari ini kita akan bicara topik yang sangat profound ya, sangat menarik. Topik ini adalah berbicara tentang incarnation. Oke, Hans, I think we can a little bit warming up about this topic before we talk about the last reincarnation. So, again, this is a little bit taboo topic in Indonesia because in Indonesia, majority Muslim will not talk about reincarnation much. But for the start, I will disclaimer to all participants here. We are not convincing anything. We just share the knowledge. So hopefully, this important knowledge can bring us to a more enlightened. So let's start with a warming up. Hans, what the real mean of reincarnation? Maybe you can explain in easy and we can understand what is reincarnation, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I understand that your beliefs are different and do not include reincarnation, sadly. But over 50% of the world population knows about reincarnation, and even Christ, the Christian religion, Christ taught reincarnation, although it's not taught in the churches, but Christ originally taught reincarnation. So the knowledge about reincarnation is pretty widespread all over the world. And as I agree with you, I have no need to convince anybody. I'm only sharing here with what I find right for me and what I do in my videos. I offer my videos as something anybody who is interested in it. And there is nothing, I don't sell anything in these videos. They are free and no advertisements, and I don't ask for money. So I merely share my own understanding because I know how it has helped me. It took me also a while to learn about reincarnation. I grew up in a Christian-oriented country like Germany, and of course there was no reincarnation mentioning either. It was only when I left Germany and lived in Africa, when I was 20, I really heard more about reincarnation, and also that Christ taught reincarnation. And reincarnation, of course, all your listeners know, is a repeated life here on earth. We come back many, many times. But why do we come back? And
Mm.
what is the purpose? So let us just go a little bit. Because we, in our day-to-day life, when we are so overcome with so much work and duties for family and everywhere else around it, we easily forget who we are. We are spirit beings, divine beings who have only come here to planet Earth for a very short time, not more as an average of 24,000 days. That's basically nothing compared to eternity and compared to the fact that we are eternal beings. We have been existing before we were born, and we will exist after we are born. So we are very special creatures, spirit beings who have just visiting here planet Earth. And why are we planet Earth coming here, back here? The main reason for most people, I like to say that many people have different reasons why they come here to planet Earth, but the main reason for most souls is to undo our karma, our soul burden, which we have created in previous lifetimes and well before. And I would like to just, in my video on karma, you can see as I draw these things out in my video, if somebody hit another person, then that is registered in his body, in his soul, in the Akashic records which surround the planet Earth, and in the planets, the repository planets. And from there, when the planets move and come into certain constellation, they download it back to the sender. So we basically reap what we have once sown. It does not come back to us as punishment, but only for us to understand that what we once did was very selfish, was against the law of love. And all what we basically have to do in this life is to learn to love again. And anything which is not loving is something which overshadows our soul and gives us basically all the trouble in the world and makes us sick and brings us into difficult situations, because our original being is nothing but love, pure,
Mm.
unconditional, unlimited, all-inclusive love. I like to mention here, put here in that all of existence is nothing but energy and vibration. That's all. All the things we see around us, the computer, the iPhone, the etc., the chair we are sitting on, is nothing but energy and vibration. There is no firm thing, no real matter thing here. It looks like it's firm, but it isn't firm. It's energy. And we are, in our nature, also energy. We are the highest energy. This is the love energy. And the love energy has, over time, through an act, I don't know how far we should go into this, but there was a group of divine beings long time ago who decided they wanted to create their own creation. In the scriptures, in many cultures, it's called the fall of angels.
Mm.
When they left the very high vibrational absolute reality, which is our true home, and they left it. And by leaving it, they left all the love energy behind, and they became very self-centered, egoistic. And when we do something today, something painful to others and even to ourselves or to Mother Nature, it is used for a selfish motivation. Me. I want the biggest piece of the pie. I want this job. I want, etc. I want. And that comes because we have forgotten who we are. We are this divine, beautiful, highly potent, strong, angelic being. That is our true nature. And it's not only my nature, it's not only your nature and the listeners and what people are, but our family members, the people at work, the people we meet in the street, they are all angels in disguise, whether we want to believe it or not. And they are all of equal value, if we may say so. We are of equal vibration. There is no higher and there is no lower angel. There are only people who have acted so much against the law of love that they become very sick, they can become poor, they have lots of blows of fate, etc., etc. And as I said earlier, these things are not punishment, and they are not given to us they are given to us to understand that the only way forward in life is love. and there is nothing else. Now, we all have heard this on greeting cards, etc., etc. The only thing that counts is love. But it is true. That is the very only thing. And this may give us some moment to reflect who are the people we are not in loving relationship with. I mean, not intimate. I mean, who are the people we really don't like? We really have problems with. Maybe mostly in our family, very often, circle of friends or acquaintances. In the politics, there are maybe people sitting there which really makes us angry when we see them. So all these angels are there. And what they are doing is they are reflecting back to us something that we have not loved in ourselves. The outside world is only a mirror. I'm going
Mm.
to show you this little toy here where this little guy is in the middle, and all around are the mirrors. And all he sees is himself. That's
I
you and me.
often I often saw that toys in your video, Hans. Anyway, that
Sorry?
cute one.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a beautiful example. So
Yeah.
see ourselves in everyone else. And every time we are having a negative emotion about somebody or situation, it's a signal that says, here you have to look at it. It's in you too. And you better want to deal with it. So I'm starting with that one. Do you have many questions so far? We can go much further with it, but is there anything you like to? Because I really like a conversation than a
Yeah. Of course. Thank you,
sermon.
Hans. The most profound the word is angel in disguise, right? And we know the most irritating angel in disguise always the people we close to, like a family, spouse, kids, right? Yeah, I have terms that our biggest karma is spouse, kids, parents, and people around, yeah, very close to us, right? Anyway, before we deep dive, I want back to the to you have a video you talk about Pope Vigilius 8 December 553, the Roman Empire, yeah, reincarnation is vanished from the Christian teaching. Can you tell about us about the Roman Empire's do with the reincarnation teaching with
Well,
Pope Vigilius?
yeah, in Christ taught reincarnation, which most people who grew up in a Christian belief system are not aware of. For the
Mm,
first 300 or 400 years, the priests and the monks and everybody else knew about reincarnation. They spoken it. They taught it because we have got the scriptures. As they sent letters to other people also related, and they all spoke about reincarnation. But there was Pope Vigilius, and there was also a king, the king emperor of Rome,
mm.
who thought himself being the highest person, and he is in control and charge everything. And he forbade the teaching of reincarnation because he wanted not to believe that people can cleanse themselves over lifetime. They wanted to have it all through the church. You have to stick to the church, you have to be a member of the church, etc. So it was a decision to control the masses, nothing else. So he just take out the reincarnation because as long as people know about reincarnation, they don't need religions
Okay.
because we have nothing there because they only need God within themselves, who's all in us, and love. And these two things, as an orientation, could set them free. And we don't want that. We want to keep the masses stupid and we want to control them. So he made a decree that says no more teaching of reincarnation. So in the Christian church from there onwards, it was no longer possible to teach or speak about reincarnation. So I'm only saying it because it was originally in the teaching of Christ, but the church with the Pope together from Roman Empire took it out and banned it. It really banned it. So that's why we don't have much in the Western world speaking about reincarnation. But you can't ban truth. The truth, as I believe it, includes reincarnation. And we have got so many examples. I mean, many of your listeners probably have done past life regressions and things like this, where they have been in other lives before. They know about it, they've read about it. I'm sure your audience is pretty familiar about the fact of reincarnation. They themselves may be still skeptical about it, and that's okay. I do not believe that everybody has to believe in reincarnation. If you are a good person and you act from love, that's all which is required.
Okay.
That's all you basically do. If you really want the best for your neighbor, for your friend, family member, etc., and it comes from love, you don't need to know anything. You don't need any of my videos, none of
Yep.
these teachings, because that all points to this one point. And there are people, and I've met them, who are genuinely loving, caring people who do not want to eat meat, who just, etc., because they cannot believe that you could harm an animal, etc. And they're loving and kind for each other and help each other. So, and they don't, and they're atheists. This is a funny thing. They're atheists, but they are deeply, deeply committed to being as pure and honest and loving as they can be in their life. So if
Okay.
love is our motivations, you don't need to believe in reincarnation. But for those who are not quite sure, I found reincarnation a helpful tool to remind me where I come from, why I'm here, and where I am going.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hans. I will summarize first for my audience. Oke, teman-teman. Tadi menarik sekali ya, Hans mengatakan bahwa kita ini datang karena ada lupa gitu ya. Kita melakukan apapun yang datang ke kita itu untuk mengandu karma. Jadi bahasanya Hans tadi adalah mengandu karma. Kita datang ke planet Earth ini untuk sekolah, untuk mengandu karma kita, bahwa setiap yang datang ke kita itu bukan hukuman, tetapi itu adalah sesuatu yang dikembalikan kepada kita untuk mengingat ulang. Tadi ada kalimat yang sangat menarik dari Hans tentang siapapun yang datang ke kita adalah malaikat yang menyamar, angel in disguise gitu. Tadi saya bilang bahwa malaikat yang menyamar itu ya hadir bisa di pasangan kita, di anak kita, tetapi pada dasarnya mereka semua itu adalah karma-karma kita, perilaku-perilaku kita yang datang kembali kepada kita untuk lebih mengingatkan lagi, dan kita belajar ini dan bukan untuk dipercayai, tetapi bagaimana kita bisa melihat ini sebagai sebuah pelajaran. Karena di satu videonya Hans pernah membahas tentang di tahun 553, tepatnya 8 Desember, itu reinkarnasi ini ditutup dan di-ban atau tidak lagi diajarkan dalam tradisi Christianity karena ada kepentingan-kepentingan dari Roman Empire pada saat itu untuk membuat kontrol sistem dan seterusnya. Nah, jadi ini akan menjadi sesuatu hal yang sangat menarik. Di situ pasti ada pro dan kontra, tapi kita mengambil sisi yang positifnya, kita mengambil sisi pelajarannya. Oke, Hans, let's continue our conversation. Anyway,
I wish I had learned Indonesian. I lived in Bali for 3 months, but that wasn't enough to learn Indonesian. So otherwise we could have done
a
it.
lot of our family live in Bali too, Hans. Yeah, Bali is
Yeah,
very beautiful.
I
Very
loved it. I
beautiful.
would have stayed there, but they didn't let me stay longer.
What year did you came to Bali?
Oh, that was some 50 years ago.
50 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
This day is very different, Hans.
Oh,
Very
I'm
different.
sure. Yes.
Okay, anyway, talk about the undo our karma. How to undo our karma in this life. So we talk about not reincarnating again, stop incarnation. So what we have to know, what we have to do to stop this reincarnation in this school of life called Earth, how to undo our karma, Hans, please.
Well, our purpose for most of us is here to undo this karma. And how do we do this is through self-recognition. And I have mentioned something, the most powerful one is whenever we have a negative feeling about a person, about a situation, there is very clearly something which we have to address in ourselves, as the outside world is only a mirror of ourselves. All our programs, all our belief systems, all what we have learned from other people, what we have accepted, radiates like the aura around us. And all we are seeing is our own programs, our own pictures. Basically, as I said, we see ourselves. And through this picture, we see the world, but it's a tainted glass. If the glass is red, we see everybody is red, and everybody is green. So because of our programs, because of what we believe, and all the things we have done in the past, we have this distorted view of the world, and we have to purify this. And by purifying is to look, why am I upset? Why does this person upset me? What precisely is this in this person what upset me? Take a politician. Is he cheating? Is he lying? Is he trying to live very bombastically? Is he doing whatever it is? Let's be very specific and then close the eyes and sit down and says, where have I been very similar in my own life? Or where I desperately wanted to be like this, but didn't have the chance because I wasn't that rich and powerful. But if I had the chance, I would also tell the world how to do whatever I want them to do. And if we are very honest, we will very quickly find several occasions where we have done something very similar and in the process may have hurt other people. And that requires some remorse, some repentance, asking for forgiveness. If we have done something to the purpose or making amends if necessary, if it can be done, and also for us to forgive others. The cleansing part is forgiveness. All
Mm.
the karmic clouds dissolve through forgiveness. And it is up to us to forgive everybody else. And when we have done something wrong, ask for forgiveness from that person. Now, very often the person has died already, isn't around anymore. Very often we have done something which the other person isn't even aware of. In that case, what I do, and this is only my belief and it works, I go to Christ and ask him to for that I feel so I tell him that I remorse, regret, and would he help me that the other person forgives this sin which I have done, which he may not be aware of or he has died. And God, Christ has got the energy and lets that soul become open to the idea of forgiveness. Now, why is that so important? Because we will meet everybody here in life, in this life or thereafter, with whom we still have karmic ties.
Okay.
And that's something which we have to consider. So if we have an unresolved relationship with somebody and that person has died, um, it is helpful to go to God, to Christ in my case, and ask for forgiveness that God takes the energy, because it's all energy. I said it earlier. It requires energy to soften the soul of the person and make him open to forgiveness. And so that's what I like to so far go. Anything further?
Okay, thank you, Hans. That's so profound. We have to understand everyone, everything came to our life. It's all about the karmic ties, right? All about uh you mentioned in your video projection. It's all about the projection.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to back to one your story. Your father long ago passed away and didn't believe about the reincarnation, and then you went to the bookshop. Yeah, the medium told you about your death. I think this is very interesting. Can you
Yeah.
yeah, the story? I think this is very interesting story. Can you tell us about this story, Hans?
Yeah, my father was a soldier in the Second World War, and he had seen a lot of death as a soldier. And he knew, in his perspective, that once a person is dead, there's nothing left. There is no life after death. He was convinced about this. And when his time came to die, and he died slowly, he was convinced that there would be nothing left of him as well. It would be over, everything. There would be no consciousness surviving. And when he was no longer able to speak and so on, and we children were with him for the last few days, and at one time I said to him, "Look, Dad, I know you don't believe in life after death, but just in case life
Mm.
continues on the other side, these are the 10 things which you probably will encounter. So don't be surprised if this happens, this happens, this happens. So this may happen. So do be open to that." And when I told him, then he smiled and said, "All right, that's your belief. I don't believe in this crap, but let me go." And he died a few days later. And I
Okay.
totally forgot this. And it was 5 years later when I went into the bookstore and this stranger I had never met before came up to me and says, "Hi, I'm Roland Comtois. I'm a medium. And when you came into the shop here, your father immediately came to me in a spirit and said, 'Go over to this person and tell him to thank you for what he has told me, because whatever he told me was correct. And it helped me so much on the other side.' And then he said, 'I am now working on the receiving end of souls that have died. And so many souls have no idea what happens at death. Some are not even believing that they are dead. And there's so much confusion. Would I please write books about it, what I've told him, so that more people know about it? And that was why I created my videos, my short videos, because I wanted to reach young people. And that time was 13 years ago. YouTube was a way to go to young people. Now it's TikTok and other stuff. But that's how I started with my series and shared what I knew I have learned over the last many, many years, and share that in my drawings because I'm a visual person. I'm an illustrator and write books, so I show it visually of how all the dots connect, how karma connects, how reincarnation works, etc., and how forgiveness works, how gratitude works, etc. That's basically what the purpose of my videos was.
Okay, thank you, Hans. That's very interesting. Anyway, we have question for from our participants. We know the true source, yeah, the true source, the source of love is always within. So the true source somehow maybe chaotic with the information, the program, etc., etc. So the question is, can I ask, is Mr. Hans realized reincarnation through reading or through self-experience? And if self-experience, can he please share its personal experience to us? I think this is question about reincarnation came from knowledge and reincarnation came from the experience of ourselves. What do you think about this?
I hope I understand the question right. I have had several past life regressions
All right.
personally where I did where things came up which explained totally where I am today. For me, there was no question about it. Now, I'm not saying that past life regression is a good way, because later on I realized it is better to not wake up sleeping dogs, as we say in English, because there
Yeah.
is a reason why we do not remember our past lives, and I will speak about it in a minute. Therefore, I will not advocate anybody going to do past life regressions. I did it before I knew that there is danger in it. So the reason why we do not remember our past lives is largely that we have had many lives before. And in this life, we do have done some horrible stuff. Remember, we may have been little Middle Ages, we have been peasants, we have been warriors, we have been killing people, we have murdering, we have stealing, we have done everything in the past lives, because that's the way how many people in this world survived. And we were one of them. If we would remember that all, we would totally overwhelmed with that
Okay.
memory. We couldn't act in our today's life. That's one reason. The second reason is that when I have a problem with you now, Abu, and I don't like you because I think you are a bad person, etc., etc., I must come from love to make a change, not because, oh, I remember I met Abu in a previous lifetimes and was the other way around, etc. Then I would come from my intellect and suddenly be nice to you, and it's an intellectual decision which doesn't come from the heart.
Okay.
That's a big difference, because now if I make a hard decision, Abu is there and he's an angel in disguise. I must love him. I will love him. He is a nice person. I will do everything to love him. That matters. It is always our intention in life which creates karma. So there's these two big reasons why it is always covered up when we incarnate, that we do not remember our past lives.
Okay. Thank you, Hans.
I hope that
Anyway,
answers the question.
yes, thank you. That's very profound, and thank you
Yeah.
very much. I
Yeah.
think getting clear, more clear, with the past life regression things. Anyway, we came here with forget anything, so we have to pay quote unquote our karma. So why we came here, forget everything, and how we remember back. So I think we get back to the line, to back to the true source or to the true love. How we do to reshaping or yeah, back to the line. We have to go back to the true source. What do you think, Hans?
Yeah, so it is, we decide we are, most of us are here to learn to undo our karma, which means in those few hours we are here alive on planet Earth, we are facing all the stuff which we once have sown into the Akashic records, into the causal computer, into the stars, into also our genes, into our soul. And it comes back at a certain time when we are ready to face it. So there we are now. We have this difficult situation. What do? Do we use our ego and make it worse? We blow up and create more drama? Or are we going within and says, where is the problem here? How can I solve it in a loving way? And the key, of course, is always to solve in a loving way. And by doing this, usually through forgiveness, we eliminate the karma. Because if we do not do that, the karma can also come up in other ways, like in an illness. An
Mm,
illness is nothing but karma coming back to us. It flows through our body. That's a positive thing because the moment an illness flows through us, it disappears, it vanishes. So as bad as an illness is, the good thing is it just lets out the karma. It flows out the karma. So the karma goes out of our system. It can come in many, many different ways, karma, but illness is just one of these many things. So we are facing every day, and I've got a very interesting video. It's called the Amazing Planet Earth, the School Planet Earth, where we see that every day certain energy, vibration again, I say the word about, comes to us from the planets in small group parts, and every time there is an opportunity for us to grow. There's a person who cuts us off in the traffic. Am I not upset about it? Or send them some, or bless him? There is this awful phone call I get from my boss. Am I not upset about it? Or can I see the love in it? And they're coming home and having fight with my spouse. Am I upset about it? Or can I do it with love? So continuously the causal computer in which we have once put up into our karma, our negativity, is coming back in small portions day by day. That's why every human being has a different day because they have their own planets bringing back the stuff which they have once uploaded. And
mm.
every time is an opportunity to dissolve it. And dissolving is always through love and forgiveness.
Okay. Anyway, talk about forgiveness, Hans. Why a lot of people it's very hard to forgive other people. It's very hard to forgetting what other people done to him, and a lot of people is very not have skill to forgive other people. Why it's happening, Hans?
Well, there are many reasons why people find it difficult to forgive. First reason is we feel superior over the person who has hurt us. That's our ego here. Oh my God, this we know what he did, etc. We feel that he is bad, I'm not bad. So there's a form of superior, our ego. The second thing is victimhood. Oh, look at me, what he has done to me, poor, isn't it awful, etc. And through victimhood, I get a lot of attention from other people. Look, poor me, poor me. So I draw energy, it's all energy and vibration, from other people by telling them, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. And the other thing is, people are afraid of change. If I now suddenly make total peace with my brother, who have fight for years and years, how shall I deal with it? And there's this point that everybody, all my friends knows that I have the most horrible mother-in-law who is terrible, terrible, terrible. I've told you for 20 years how terrible he is. Now suddenly I forgive her. What will my friends think of me if I suddenly change and suddenly I'm no longer running that old kind of story? People are afraid of change. So these are all the ego coming into a play who stop us from really changing. First of all, let's think, am I feeling superior to the other person? And then, of course, victimhood is a victimhood. Do I cash in? Do I enjoy being a victim?
Mm.
And because if there is something negative and I'm holding on to something, there is a benefit in it. We only hold on to some situations because there is a benefit. It can be victimhood, can be superiority, can be, I don't want to set him free. I want to have the power I think I have over the person. If I set you free, then you can do anything, etc. So there are several things why we do that, but it's always something what our ego stops us to forgive. Our higher self immediately sees this was a silly, stupid thing, whatever it may have been. I've made a mistake, you made a mistake. Let's just start here from the beginning and let's make a new way. There's a wonderful book called Radical Forgiveness in English. I'm
Mm.
sure it's also in Indonesian. It's wonderful to read and to go into this and deeply do this. There's some kind of exercise. So anybody who is interested in, and I also mentioned it in my video on forgiveness.
Okay. Thank you, Hans. Radical forgiveness. Then I think we have to keep learning about forgiveness, right? Because in my opinion, forgiveness is like skill. we have to learn and learn again and learn again. So yeah, we got skilled and we can forgive people. Anyway, I want to go back to maybe the first time you told me that you from Christian belief. So I always have a terminology about believer and seeker. All right. So we born, get into the program. We born installed the belief from external world, our parents, our society, etc. How you transform from believer to seeker? What make you to this path, Hans?
Well, I question. I grew up in the Christian church, and the Christian church speaks always God is love and so on. But I looked around. There were people starving. There were people sick. There were people poor. There were people rich. I couldn't believe in a God who is love when things like this happen on the world.
Okay.
So I couldn't, that by just opening up this does not make sense. And I didn't have the answer then. It came much later when I suddenly realized I'd heard about reincarnation, that with reincarnation, everything makes sense. Why people are poor, why are so strong, why are powerful, not powerful. It all relates to past lives. And it's also related to what the person has to learn in this lifetime. We have also different tasks, not only coming for karma, but I want to learn maybe forgiveness, I want to learn compassion, etc. So we all have different reasons why we incarnate, and that explains why some people are rich, poor, sick, powerful, whatever it may be. So suddenly it made all sense to me.
Okay. Thank
By
you, Hans.
questioning. But if you, that's why question everything what I say. I tell to everybody, never believe it because I said so. But you're absolutely right. Most of what we believe or things comes from our environment, from our parents, from the churches, or from priests or whoever it is who taught us, and we have never questioned it. And that's a danger if somebody starts to question. Nobody in power wants people to start questioning their power. So you have to do that mostly on your own, and you have to find ways. And today, the internet is, in a way, a blessing that you can find out so much. When I
Mm,
was searching, there was no internet. I didn't had books on reincarnation at that time. I mean, there may have been there, but they're just I didn't know where to go. I sort of slowly learned when I came much later that with other people I interacted, and that helped me and to get on. But so we can find answers to most of our questions in the internet. I wouldn't trust AI, but you can surely find a lot of answers here. And there are many wonderful podcasts like yourselves and so on, where people can find more about this if it works for them.
okay. Thank you very much, Hans. It's all about the journey, right? The journey we cannot push or force, right? The journey we cannot, yeah, we just enjoy the journey because in internet a lot of chaotic, Hans, believer versus seeker, a lot of chaotic in internet now. Anyway, I have one friend named Sony Wicaksono, will to ask you. Silakan, Mas Sony.
Yeah, thank you, Kang Abu and Mr. Hans, for this beautiful discussion regarding the reincarnation. Right? Actually, me and Abu have a program in the YouTube that discuss the many issues on spirituality regarding this incarnation. Also, is like a long episodes, like 20 episodes that we discuss, and we are using the Al Quran as our reference. And actually, in Al Quran, there are many verses that explain about reincarnation that people like so hidden, so that not many of the people reading it realize it and actually knows about this. And we have discussed this, and believe me, it's very difficult to explain reincarnation to the believers, even especially to Muslim. And the fact that is there in the Al Quran, right? um, I have two questions for you, right? I'm very happy to share with you know to share with you on this, and I have two questions, right? The first question is, in Muslim we have the belief that we have this life and we have, or we say dunya, and we have afterlife, we say akhirat, and we only live one, which is dunya, and then later in akhirat or afterlife, which is we are going to face it all together at the same time, and wait like thousand or even millions of years until it realized, and we will experience which is heaven and earth, right? The surga and neraka, we call it, or heaven and earth. While in this reincarnation, that I realized, and I've my consciousness told me that this heaven and earth is not a place that we can that we are facing like thousand or millions years after this life, but we are facing it on a day by day basis, right? How do you, what is your belief on heaven on earth, with this reincarnation consciousness? That's my first question. The second question is, yeah, I also experienced this reincarnation, realizing my past life, and realizing that in every life that I live, right, in the past life, I have a different religion, right? Muslim, being a Christian, Buddhist, Hindi, and it's quite shocked me from when I first realized, because I believe that my religion is the most righteous, right? But in the past life, I experienced many religions. My question to you that regarding this is that what is your perception on religion after you have this reincarnation consciousness, and how do we use our religion in this life to interact with other religions that people have? That's two questions. Thank you, Kang Abu,
Okay,
Mr. Han.
thank you, Mas Sony. So you taste many religion and still come back here, right? All right. Thank you, Mr. Sony. All right, Hans.
Let's do the religious first, and then we can come back. I have religion is the organized form of spirituality. And the organized form is always done by human beings. And human beings are unfortunately usually run by egos. And that's why we have virtually all big wars in the world were about religions.
Yep.
One God fighting another God. Made no sense whatsoever. But religious organizations are always power structures. And their goal is to bind the soul. The spirituality, and what I'm talking about, is a path of freedom. Not bind ourselves to other human beings or to any specific religion. Because you are a free being. And that's where we're coming to your first question now. We are, as we mentioned, angelic beings. We are coming from the divine worlds, from the 7x7 divine world, which is energy, where we were high spiritual beings. And that spiritual beings lived in utter freedom. It lived in love, in harmony, in all unity, and in peace. These are the qualities where we come from and also who we are. But none of this, the equality, the peace, the harmony, we find in any organization, religious organization. Any. And they speak about it all the time, about love and so on, but then they send the young men into war and kill for their God. So it does not make sense. Therefore, I am not a religious person at all. I have been influenced initially when I was young, but I started to question it. And to know whether it's right for you. Now, there may be people who says, I cannot let go of my religions, and I fully respect this, and I have no need to change anybody's mind. But what I'm saying is, ask yourself quietly, is this what I hear? That I am a high soul being who can cast down karma and can free ourselves with the help of God and divinity to become free again. Does that make sense to me? Does that resonate in me? If it doesn't resonate to me, if you say, oh, I need a mullah, I need a rabbi, I need someone else, etc., then this is where you are, and that is fine. That is not wrong, but it is a different vibe of vibration. The path to freedom is free here. The soul on its path to perfection, this is the book, which is basically most of the teachings I'm speaking about, is to perfection. We return back to perfection, and it's the path to freedom. We want to become free. Why is freedom so important? Because everything that we believe in or hold on to can pull us back into another incarnation. If I am strongly believing that Muslim is the wrong one and everybody should become a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew or whatever it is, and this is my goal because you must see that the Hebrew belief is the only way to go, etc., that is so strong in my soul vibration that this soul vibration can pull me back into the next incarnation.
Okay.
And that's why the spiritual path is a path of freedom, so that we let go of everything that binds us to this world, all our egoistic stuff, our ego identity, what I have, what I am, my skin color, my race, all these are just only costumes which I have done, as you've said earlier, as you have mentioned earlier. He has been in many religions. He also had different skin colors. So we are not black by nature or yellow by nature or white or red. That is only what we take on in each incarnation. And therefore, the path to freedom for me does not include religious organizations, because their main goal is the opposite. It's always binding, even if they say otherwise. But if you know you have to pay your dues, you have to appear, etc., you have to do this ritual. I've got a whole video on rituals and traditions, and look at that. These are the most binding things of a society. If we are stuck into a rituals or whatever it is that holds us back, it's an energy vibration. So in our path of self-recognition, we also will realize how much pattern have I taken on from my environment of behavior patterns, because all of this can bind us. Did this answer your question, you think?
Okay, that's very nice, Hans. That's very profound. Thank you very much. Maybe the first question about the heaven and hell,
Oh,
heaven on earth, heaven on earth. I
heaven
think,
on earth.
yeah. You made video about the heaven one. Please, you can explain to us.
Well, heaven is what we call the absolute reality where we came from. I've mentioned several times we are energy beings, soul beings, perfect beings, and we have lived in the absolute reality with God, with love, in wisdom and harmony and rest. That is our true origin, and that's where we all will return. And many religions have different way of returning. Now, my belief and understanding, my belief is, if I have burdened myself heavily, and sort of really are low at the bottom here, the only way to get my vibration up again is to undo all the various karmic things to get my soul light. This is for me the only way. There is no person, or there is no God who suddenly says, oh, I let go of all your things and you will come up to heaven. There is nothing can get me up to heaven except my own effort, because I have caused it and I can do it, but I couldn't ask for help. I use the help of Christ, who helps me to overcome certain things, to help me in my forgiveness. If I have certain habits which upset me, I ask for strength by Christ. But that is a spiritual energy. It's not a religious energy, which helps me to live better and make every day better choices. So if I have burdened myself, I have to also unburden myself. And that's the reason why we are here on planet Earth. I do not know there is another way of waiting, whatever it is. It's all in our own hand. We slowly grow back to the absolute reality. We've walked through 7 spheres, through 7 kind of heavens, so to say, astral spheres, and until we reach the highest energy. It's vibration, and slowly, the more we clear up, the higher our vibration is, and the more we become loving. It's, my teacher always said, God is ingenious simplicity.
Okay.
And that's the amazing thing when I've studied these teachings and in my video. It is also very simple. It is our intellect, and it is also very often the teachings from religions which make things so complicated, where they give special hurdles, special tasks, special rituals, etc. No, it's all about love. Love is the only thing. It's very simple. And if we are becoming from a very self-centered person in this lifetime and slowly develop more love, become more loving, that's like we are going all the way up. It's all in our own hand.
Thank you, Hans. Thank you very much. I think we all understand about more understand about heaven and earth, heaven and hell. That's not about the geographical place, I think, but I think that's the soul, the feeling, the frequency about low frequency or high frequency. I think when we joy, love, peace, I think we are already in heaven. But we have resentment, hate, etc., with low frequency. I think we already in hell too. I think this all about not about the geographical, but how our soul, how our frequency, we maintain that frequency. Thank you very much, Hans.
Let me just let me add something. I haven't really spoken about hell briefly, but let me add something. Actually, what you say is quite right. Again,
Yep,
vibration. This
yep,
this planet Earth is for hell for many people. You see it, all the war zones and so on. But if a person is very burdened, they will after death come into a similar vibrating astral world,
yep,
which means if I'm a murderer in this lifetime, I will be surrounded by other murderers, etc. If I steal, etc. So like attracts like, that is a prime law of the universe. So that what people call hell, because we are then surrounded by our own evil kind of energies. But it is only temporary. There is no eternal hell. So eventually we can work ourselves also in the astral world slowly up to a higher level. But that is the negative world which some souls who have been very aggressive, very negative, very self-centered, will, with that vibration, will bring them into the lower astral worlds.
yep. At least if we understand about this reincarnation, karmic, we have alert what we have to do because everything is will be back to us, right? The law of universe, the law of attraction, the law of action always happen. I think the highest law in this universe is not about the law of religion or etc. The law of country, etc., but the law of universe is always teach us to remember. And I think we live in this universe, and we you know we always to understand. We have to understand what is all about the law itself. Thank you, Hans. It's very profound. And then so I think the two last question to stop reincarnating, is this the main purpose we going to planet Earth? What do you think?
For most people, the answer is yes, but a lot of other souls have come from the highest fields to help the planet Earth, which is going through a transition. We are going through very difficult times. And they have come here as teachers, they have come here as helpers, they have come to anchor light. So a lot of people around us may not be there here for undoing their karma so much, but helping the whole planet Earth, which means the people as well as the plants, the animals, and the minerals, to come into a higher vibration. So there are a lot of spiritual teachers who have incarnated into this world. But they are not binding. They are not trying to say, look, come to my YouTube channel and you must follow me and etc. These are the quiet ones. They're really there. They may be only there for one or two people, but maybe for big groups. But so not everybody comes. There are also other people who come to for a reason like, I want to learn forgiveness. I want to learn compassion. And they find a very specific earth life where they can develop that skill.
All right. Okay. So I think one of most important now, how we teach this, how we teach the law of universe, how we, radiance to our kids, especially to Z generation, the young people, how we make them to realize this is the truth, quote unquote. This is the law of universe, and I think we always have to learn and teach the youngest people about this. What do you think?
Well, the first thing comes to mind, of course, you can't teach anybody because the moment you try to teach somebody, you don't want to listen to anybody. So
Yeah.
we can only live by example. We can only teach by
Nice.
example. That is the one thing. But there is a thing, for instance, if your child suddenly says, so this happened, it says, Can there be some reason not before? Can you maybe something has happened before? Can you look how you may have started it, etc.? So that they understand the law of sowing and reaping. Christ does not work the word karma. He uses the word sowing and reaping, which is basically the same thing. Whatever we sow in life, we will reap. So there are instances when we can take to our children and says, look, this is maybe something which is related to that one, etc. Can you see that? Or if you're upset about this person, is there anything in you which upsets you? So you can ask them through question, but we can't do it through teachings or preachings, I think. Or that usually backfires. The kids nobody wants to preach. I've done a lot of books for children, but one thing I have to stay away from is preaching and teaching. No kid wants to be preached and taught to.
Okay, Hans, that's very beautiful because a lot of mother, especially, always ask how to teach my son, how to teach my son, but
Are
living
you
as
in
example.
Are you in harmony with your husband? Are you in harmony and loving with your mother-in-law? Are you in harmony? Ask that question. Are there people, are you in your life you do not like because your son, your daughter knows about it? And if you want to tell me if I have to love my brother, you start with grandma.
That's killing, Hans. The question about are you harmony with your spouse or your husband or your wife, that will be example for our kids. Thank you, Hans. Boleh kita tepuk tangan ya? Big round of applause from Mr. Hans. Thank you very much. Anyway, you have any YouTube or TikTok or social media?
I have got my YouTube. If anybody punches my name, Hans Wilhelm, into the YouTube, you get to my channel, Life Explained channel. You see the videos all free. Or you go to my website, lifeexplained.com, where the same videos in a different order and some more stories around it. And if you are interested in it, I'm sending the new video, which once a month a new video comes out. Just on my website, just subscribe for the newsletters and you will get the latest videos automatically.
Right. Thank you very much, Hans. And last short final question about last incarnation, please.
The last incarnation, the last quarter says, look, there are only a few things. Love is the only way forward. Whatever you will do tomorrow, sit down and so on, before you make the phone call, before you go and speak to your mother-in-law, love is the only way forward. See if it works.
Right, Hans. Thank you very much. Again, big round of applause for Hans Wilhelm.
Thank you, Abu.
Hopefully, we can meet you another time.
But delighted.
Yeah, because a lot of my subscriber, a lot of my friends very like and very, get enlightened with what you told in YouTube, and I think we enjoy this conversation. Anyway, I will end this webinar with poem. Okay, Hans, this is poem I just made this morning. It's called Returning to True Love. In countless lives, I wandered in cycle of birth and death, a dance of forgetting, remembering again and again. Until one day, I grew weary of the endless spiral. And in the stillness of my soul, I found it, the quiet truth of a love that never leaves. No more wandering, no more becoming, only returning to the love that has always been. Thank you very much, Hans. Thank you very much.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Abu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Han.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Oke guys, teman-teman. Oh, di New York udah malam ya. Terima kasih semuanya. Semoga mendapatkan inspirasi dari pembicaraan kita di pagi hari ini. Dan sekali lagi kita tepuk tangan untuk Hans. Hans, we love you. And we waiting you come back to our webinar. Teman-teman terima kasih. Semoga tetap sehat dan bahagia. And love you all. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah.